Okay, I think enough time has passed now. We've given them enough time to fix it up and apply all the patches and everything else that it needs. I think it's time to talk about Anthem. When Bioware showed off Anthem at E3 in 2018, everybody was excited. I mean, it looks amazing. Look at the game. It looked like a rich, lush world, stunning graphics, amazing interactivity with characters, all with their own stories and their own quests and things like that. And it really hinted at being the things that Destiny promised that it would be, but didn't necessarily deliver on.
But they're still out there, somewhere. If you could just bring them back. Anything you need.
Anthem had the allure of a rich, storied world. It looked like it had a real sense of adventure to it, of things that were going to happen, of excitement and adventure and amazing exploration in powered suits, where you could zip around like Iron Man if you wanted to. I mean, who didn't want that? It looked amazing. All of the key pieces were there, heaps of promise. You just I felt like it was going to be the thing that would replace Destiny for me. And I was really excited about that. I mean, it was the first game in a while that I was actually excited about. I mean, I used to previously like Call of Duty, but, you know, the most recent edition, I wasn't interested in yet another Battle Royale game. You know, all of these games that are transitioning to becoming games as a service, you know, a lot of them lose the story, they lose the adventure, they lose those epic moments. And Anthem looked like it was going to bring all that back again. It looked like it was possibly going to be the first game as a service that would bring back all of the things, all of the adventure and the excitement and amazing graphics and quests and, you know, things you could do with your friends or things you could solo. And, you know, we were really excited about that. I mean, check out those amazing effects, all that mist, the amazing creatures running through the mist, and exciting events in the real world where you can interact with these creatures and go on amazing adventures. It all looked amazing. I was so excited for it. And then we got Anthem, and where was all that stuff? Where were the fantastic graphics? Where were the amazing quests? Where were the fantastic creatures? I don't know. Somewhere along the line, all those things went missing. Or perhaps they were never there to begin with. So the big day of release arrived, or several release days, and then we got this. Doubtless you've probably seen comparisons around, but what the flip? There's a lot of detail missing, there's a lot of graphical fidelity, there's a lot of effects missing, there's a lot of people missing. They've taken... Oh, there's the giant striders that we were excited to see missing. They've taken away the things that we wanted, that we were excited about, and they're all gone. I mean, the bazaar is now a huge empty space. I mean, changes to graphical fidelity are one thing. Look, this is amazing. There's water effects, there's interactive particles, there's... Look at the explosions and the way the water is interacting with everything and the creatures, and it looks incredible. And yet, this is what we got in the game. Lots of things have been stripped down, and the vegetation is gone, the effects are gone, the lighting is gone, I don't know what the heck to say about the creatures. They're all very meh and generic and just bland, and there's not a lot of variety in them. I just don't understand. It was almost like we got given two different games. I understand that marketing's got to do its thing, but surely showing off a product that is nothing like the product that you're actually going to receive constitutes false advertising, which is, in my opinion, is what they've done. I mean, there's that Strider there. They promised that would be interactive, and yet we didn't get it. It's not there. You only ever see them stationary in the game, and you have nothing to do with them. And look, graphically, it's not a total dog. I'm not ragging on it saying it's terrible or anything, but what I'm disappointed in is it's the fact that it was not what was shown. It's not what was promised. Now, we've had some pretty lame excuses so far from Bioware about it, saying, "Oh well, look, over the course of development, things change." Look, I get that, but if you're showing something off in an alpha or pre-alpha state at E3, that implies that the thing's pretty well done, right? And that means that you're reasonably representative of what you should be showing. Okay, if it's in-game footage as well, it's not preview footage. It's not something that you've pre-rendered and concocted to show off your concept. This supposedly is the actual game in operation. So I really don't understand how we got this when it doesn't match anything remotely near what the E3 one was. And to me, I suspect what they've had to do is they've had to go through and drop down the fidelity, drop down the effects, pull a lot of things out of there and stuff like that, just to get the game to perform well, which makes me wonder what that E3 demo was running on when they were showing it off. Obviously, it was probably a PC, and it probably was something that was massively overspec'd beyond what your average console can do. And I think that's disappointing. I mean, that's they shouldn't be trying to represent something that the product is not. They should be representing what the product is going to be for the bulk of the consoles out there. Majority rules in this case. You don't go and say, well, look, well, they certainly didn't say. They didn't come out and say, well, this is what it could be if you go and get the highest level machine and the highest level graphics card and maybe some new tech that you're not privileged to yet and everything. And this is what it could be. You need it to be what is available now. And they just didn't do that. I mean, what we got is not that. And look, graphics aside, there are other issues with it as well. I mean, the AI is pretty terrible. The creatures are pretty terrible. They seem to mistake difficulty for gameplay, and by that I mean just ramping the hit points of the creatures up to ridiculous proportions, so that you can't actually really damage them, and you just basically they're bullet sponging off them for ages and ages and ages. That's not gameplay. That's not content. It's just called artificially slowing the progress of the game, and yeah, it just frustrates people and they don't want to play anymore. You've really got to strike a key balance between enjoying the game, getting some decent loot, feeling like you're powerful enough, because the game is a wish fulfillment for people. It's not, a time filler as such. It's a bit of wish fulfillment. You want to feel like a powerful soldier and you're doing these amazing things and you're having these epic battles and adventures with your friends and it's all cool. You don't go in there to get crushed and stamped on for 2 hours and then get no rewards for it, which is also another major problem with this game, which is essentially a looter shooter. It just doesn't want to give anything out, and what it does give out is rubbish. So I suspect that the microtransactions are part of the problem there, but I'm also really surprised and disappointed that the game just doesn't seem to be well balanced. I mean, there's, for a game that's supposedly taken 6 years to construct, the balance is terrible. The weapons are terrible, the guns feel underpowered. There's been a lot of complaints about people not being able to access the in-game content, such as it is. Things like the masterwork weapons and things are just not dropping, and apparently they then patched it, and for a brief time, loot was actually dropping at a reasonable rate, and people were happy, but inexplicably they've undermined the game again and patched it out, and it's back to not dropping anything. So I'm not sure what they're trying to do. It's almost like they're trying to torpedo themselves at this point. The lack of content in the game has been a real mystery as well, especially in the end game. A lot of the weapons are all the same things, same skin, same look. They don't make any difference. They don't. There's just no variety in anything. It's the same sort of thing with the enemies as well. They're all very similar. They're all very much the same. There's not a lot happening. There's not a lot of locations. Their solution was they're like, finish it through till you reach level 30, and then after that, repeat everything you've just done again. And same sort of thing even in the variety of mission types. There's mostly 3 different kinds. Go here, fight a whole wave of guys till it's done, or go here, fight a wave of guys and collect something and put it here, or variations of that sort of thing. There's just not much there. I mean, dare I say it, there's less there than there is Destiny. I mean, I think at this point Destiny's probably got more to do. It certainly has more range and sort of little quests and things like that. Even though, yes, they still have the same sort of problem of lather, rinse, repeat again and again. don't get me wrong, I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm a bit tired of Destiny also, but I feel like these sorts of games, these software as a service things, they need to understand that you need to deliver a complete game first and foremost with everything there. And then, as part of the software as a service going into the future, you deliver more content. You don't deliver the original game and then cut all the content out and then just stage that over months or years or whatever. I mean, I paid for a complete game. I expect a complete game. And then going forward, feel free to build an ad on top of it. And if you want me to have to pay for expansions or whatever, fair call. But I expect a complete game, not a half-finished game where they're going to be patching things or hopefully adding things in ad nauseum into the future. And I guess that's part of one of the things that's a real gamble too, I guess, is we just don't know. We don't know how much they're going to be able to change or how much they're going to be able to add to the game. I would suspect not a heck of a lot. So it will be things that are dropped into this framework that's here now. But as it is, I don't think the game is going to radically change a heck of a lot in gameplay. And that concerns me because I just don't feel like there's enough game here at the moment. Don't get me wrong, there is some fun to be had, but I think that you'll quickly become bored with it, especially once you've been through the main quest line and finished the story, which isn't really that long or that complicated. And you know, once you then embark on that cycle of having to rinse, repeat, do it again and again and again, I think it will quickly get old for a lot of people. The farming aspects as well in the open world part. Again, same sort of thing. They're a bit thin on the ground. The content is miserly, I guess is a good way to put it. There isn't enough of it, and taking what is there and just simply making it harder is not necessarily a great solution. Interestingly enough, I've been following some of the complaints as the weeks have gone past. The various bugs and things are starting to crop up, and people are starting to figure out what's going on. And one at the moment that's got people quite angry is that they've worked out that a level 1 gun is basically the best gun in the game, because if you get a higher level gun, all it does is just ramp up the hit points on the enemies. So you're never actually increasing your power when they keep moving their power up to match, if you understand what I mean. So Bioware claims that they're going to fix it. They claim that they're going to fix a lot of things, and I guess it's a wait and see on that. But yeah, to summarize on how I feel about the game at the moment, I really don't think that it's a game you probably want to get into unless you're really excited to get in on the ground level and you feel that there's enough there to entertain you. I'd be surprised if, you know, long term you didn't get bored with it fairly fast and move on to something else. But I think for most people, I would probably just hold off at the moment and see what's going to happen with it and see whether or not the game actually grows into something that fulfills its promise. It's a really hard call to make at the moment. People are already talking about boycotting the game as well until Bioware and EA are a bit more responsive and listening to what the community wants to see with the game, and, you know, addressing issues like the poor loot and things like that. But it's anybody's guess at this point. So yeah, it's a shame. It's a disappointment. But I would probably hold off on it at the moment. There are plenty of other good games around. Hopefully there will be better games coming, and hopefully these companies will start to learn some lessons from these software as a service propositions that they're putting out, that you know, they need to deliver a complete game. They need to deliver something that's really, you know, really well put together, really polished, and has enough legs to be able to be extended going forward. You know, not deliver 50% of the game and we'll sort of finish it over the next 5 years or whatever, or re-enable things that are there and have been turned off. So anyway, I hope that helps you if you've been watching Anthem and trying to decide whether or not you want to get into it. As always, if you liked the video, please feel free to leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. Are you enjoying Anthem? Did you get into it with excitement, and have you lost interest in it? Has it disappointed you as well? Click on the subscribe button, and I'll see you for the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.